Rupert, I've been a meditation practitioner and teacher for over 35 years now, but about 18 years ago, I had once again lapsed into a deep clinical depression, something which I had dealt with since I was a teenager. And I particularly recall one day during this particular depression that I sat on the floor at home and remember literally screaming out in anguish. Now, but when that abated, I was exhausted. However, in that state, I had suddenly recognized something curious. There appeared to be this other place that I observed in my mind that had no substance other than a distinct sense of calm, quiet, and openness, totally non-discriminatory. A short time later, I was invited by a Tibetan Lama friend of mine to come to the retreat center and do a solo meditation retreat. And one of the teachings he suggested I meditate on was the observer is not the observed. So reflecting on this brings up a question, as there seems to be a bit of a disparity here, as it was obvious to me that during my depression, which I previously related, I was a witness to a different state within, and which I sensed was the foundation of who I truly am, my true self, as it were. The conundrum for me is that I had the impression that I was witnessing the pure self within, and yet that does not seem possible, or is it? My
Yes,
question.
no, sorry, go on.
My question, therefore, would be: is awareness, at least in some sense, the same as consciousness? And if that is so, is the altered state that I recognize basically nameless in that it just is?
So the answer to your first question is yes. Is consciousness the same as awareness? And the answer to your second question, the altered state, you are not a state. If the state that you witnessed altered, then no, it's not yourself. What witnessed it is yourself. You cannot witness yourself.
Right.
You can only witness something. Whatever you witness is not essentially yourself. Because you are the witness. Even the most marvelous altered state you could imagine would not be yourself. You would be that which witnesses it, or that which knows it.
So if you could just clarify, please, Rupert. So when we're visualizing or aware of something different within us,
that's something different that you are aware of is not essentially yourself.
But how can we then be aware of our true self?
You cannot be aware of your true self in subject-object relationship. However, if I were to ask you now, are you aware? What would you say?
Yes.
In other words, you are having the experience of being aware. Yes?
Right. Yes.
What is it that is having the experience of being aware?
My conscious awareness.
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 Awareness has the experience of being aware. That is awareness knowing awareness. But that experience doesn't take place in subject-object relationship, because the awareness that knows and the awareness that is known are the same. So in answer to your question, how can you, in that case, how can you be aware of yourself? Exactly the way you were aware of being aware just then. At that moment when I asked you, are you aware? Your awareness ceased directing itself towards an object of experience, and it came back to itself. It tasted itself, it recognized itself, and in response, as a result of that experience, that non-objective experience, it said, yes, I am aware of myself. It's that simple. The answer to your question, how is awareness aware of itself? Just like it was when I said to you, are you aware? Pause. Yes. In that pause, awareness was aware of itself. But that experience did not take place in subject-object relationship.
Right. It sounds so simple.
it not only it sounds so simple because it is so simple.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, it's precisely because it's so simple that we tend to overlook it and try to make it something exotic and extraordinary and spiritual and get ourselves
Right.
tangled up.